What's up, everybody in YouTube land? How's it going? I'm feeling good. How are you? Good. I wanted to talk to you guys about something real quick. Have you ever been fishing and you're just getting skunked completely, just getting your butt handed to you by them little green slimers, and then you get a bite and your adrenaline kicks in and you're just like, yes, and you're cranking on that sucker. You maybe get a little overzealous, maybe you don't, but either way, snap, it's gone. You lose him, and you're frustrated, and you're just like, what in the world is going on? And you're reeling your line in, and you realize you're not slipped, you're not broke, you're not slipped, you're not broke. That's a bad feeling. I know, because it happened to me. It's happened to me a lot in the past. But I want to say one thing though: it hasn't happened to me in the last couple years, and the reason for that is because of 3 simple knots that I use. I know this video's been done, guys. I know there's a ton of knots out there. You guys there's gonna be guys get on here and just be like, oh, that's not true. This is better, and this is. I'm not saying that these are the best. Period. I'm saying, in my opinion, guys, these knots are the best for me. These knots have not failed me. Get that? Have not failed me. No, bad. Anyway. So, I'm going to show you guys 3 knots I use, and these are pretty much the only knots I use in fishing, guys. And in my opinion, if you learn these knots, you're not going to need any other knots. That's just my opinion. You can learn as many as you want. You can get as complex as you want. If that's your thing, you like showing people how cool you can swap up all those lines and just... That's awesome. I blows my mind, some of the knots that these people remember, how complex they are and whatnot. I just don't. When I'm fishing, that's not something I want to do. All 3 of these knots are going to be knots that you can use while you're in your kayak and you need to tie something on, or something breaks, or just whatever. These are all simple and they're all quick. They're 3 of the fastest knots that I know and the strongest that I know. So, without any further ado, guys, let's get started with the knot tying. Here we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to do this as slowly as possible and as clear as possible, so you guys can hopefully see this. I'm going to use braid on these knots just because it's going to show up better, not because that's necessarily the type of line that you should use. I use these knots for mono, I use them for fluoro, and I use them for braid as well. It is what it is. I'm going to show you first, guys, the knot I use the most out of all of them. And most of you will know this. This, in my opinion, is the best knot as far as tying on your lures and hooks and so on and so forth. And it is the Palomar knot, guys. So how we're going to do this is we're going to feed one end through the front of the hook, just like so. We're going to pull it through, and then we're going to take that same end, your tag end, guys, that you just put through the front, and we're going to take it, if you can grab it, and we're going to send it back through, just like so. You grab that end and you hold this end, and what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself some room. Give yourself some length, just like this. Now you've got both ends held and you've got your loop end held, just like this, guys. Okay? And you're going to tie an overhand knot, just like this. Now don't tighten it down yet. Do not tighten it down yet. You're going to want to leave it just about like that. You've got your overhand knot tied, and then the loop end, after you tie your overhand knot, is simply going to open up and swing back through over your bait or your hook, like so. And before you tighten it down, guys, make sure you wet it with some water or saliva and then slowly and gently tighten it all down by pulling your tag end and your main line end, just like that. And you're going to tighten it all down. And there you go, just like that. And then you'll take your scissors and you will trim off the excess. That, you guys, is the Palomar Knot, one of the strongest knots that can ever be tied, and it's fast as well. Knot number one, guys, the Palomar Knot. All right, knot number two that I use, and I use this when I'm tying on like my spinners or large lures or something like that. I'll use the improved cinch, guys. Improved cinch, improved clinch. I can't speak. However you want to say it, guys. It's pretty much the same thing. This is how we do it, guys. We're going to take it and we're going to feed it through the front of our hook, just like that. Give ourselves some room here. We're going to hold it like this, guys, and give it a few twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twists. And then we're going to take our tag in and we're going to feed it through the bottom loop right there. That bottom loop that we've made. And then what makes it the improved, guys, is as you pull this tight, you're going to want to take it and take your tag in and put it back through the big loop that you have now. So after we put it through like that, we're going to take it and we're going to put it back through the big loop. We'll grab the tag end, and then we've got our main line. And once again, guys, you're going to want to wet it with saliva, which I'm not going to do right now because I don't really need to, but wet it with saliva, and you're going to pull on them both slowly and evenly until it's all tied up, just like that, guys. And you're going to want to make sure this one's tight, especially with something like braid or mono. You want to make sure it's tight, period. You don't want it to slip. I always grab the main line, give it a few tugs, just like that, and then I like to take this and kind of make sure it's cinched down all the way, just like that. And then you'll take your scissors, guys, or your clippers, and you will, oh, mine are getting dull, and you'll clip off your tag end. That is the improved fisherman's knot or improved cinch. I've heard it called a million things. That is the second most used knot that I use. Those right there, guys, the Palomar and the improved clinch or improved cinch, however you want to say it, those are the only two knots I pretty much use. Okay? And I have not had a knot fail on me since I started using the improved or the Palomar, guys. So make sure when you're tightening those down, though, make sure you always wet your line, guys, especially with like mono and fluoro. Braid not so much, but mono and fluoro, because what that does is it takes the friction out of the lines, and if you have too much friction on there, it'll weaken that line where you're tightening it down. You want as little friction as possible. So I always spit on it or get it wet, either way, and that'll take the tension out before you cinch it down. And now the last knot that I'm going to show you guys is going to be a braid to mono, braid to fluoro connection knot. Okay, and this is a very, very important knot in my opinion, and you'll see people do this a million ways, and I found this way to be the easiest, the fastest, and I have not had a knot fail, or I have not had a connection fail yet. So you guys can tell me that this is not a good way. You can tell me there's stronger ways. I'm sure there are, but I have yet to have a connection fail using this method. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take my leader material and I'm going to take off, a little excess. I use a little bit extra just because I like to have, ends to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my leader and I'm going to clip it off. And I'm going to put that to the side. So I've got my leader material right here, just like this. And I'm using I think this is 15-pound fluoro, guys. And this one, I'm going to use line braid that I've already got on my rod. So this end is going to my reel. It is not a loose end, it's actually going to my reel, so that's the main line. All right, guys, what we're gonna do, okay, is we're gonna take our leader material. We've got it right here. We're gonna take our braid. We've got it right here. And what the first thing we're gonna do is, I like to call it a head-on collision. We're gonna take this end and this end, and we're just gonna put them right head-on with each other, just like this. Just like that, guys, and give yourself some room. So you got some room to work, and you're just going to hold them both together, just head on, boom, boom, just like that, okay? And now the first thing you're going to do, guys, is you're going to make an overhand knot. You'll take your loose end, tag end of your leader, just like that, and you're going to make an overhand knot. And you're just going to take it, and you're going to tuck it back through, just like that. Pull your leader through, pull your line through, kind of tighten it down a little bit, just a little bit, not all the way, and you're going to go and you're going to make another overhand knot. Take your leader material and take your line, and you're going to feed it right back through again, just like that. Got to get the leader to go through. There we go, just like that. That's two, and I like to do it one more time, maybe two, just depends. Overhand knot. Basically, I've just done 3 overhand knots, all in the same direction. Pulled it through just like that. The next thing you're wanting to do, guys, is you're going to want to slowly start pulling it together. Wet it, always wet it. Pull your tag ends and your main lines all together, all at once. Pull it tight, pull it tight, pull it tight. Cinch it down, just like that. Boom. That is all you need to do, guys. I did 3 overhand knots. You do head-on collision, 3 overhand knots, and then I will come through here and I will clip my tag end of my braid. Obviously, we're going to get it closer than that. Get it as close as you can. Put the tag end of your braid, and then clip the tag end of your leader, just like this. There it is, guys. That'll go through micro guides, that'll go through whatever you need, but I tend to use these on everything that I need a leader material for. So just remember, head on, overhand knots, 3 or 4 of them. However, just remember, the more overhand knots you make, the bigger your knot is going to be. So if you've got micro guides, use 3. If you've got like you're putting a leader on a spinning rod, put 4 or 5 on there. Make it a little bit bigger. Make your knot connection a little bit stronger. But that is a 15-pound fluoro to a 20-pound braid connection right there. That's all you need to know, guys. You've got your Palomar, you've got your improved cinch, and then you've got your leader connection. Go fishing. That's all you need to know.
All right, guys, I hope that helped you out. I hoped you learned something. I hoped you could see me do the knots. I know it's kind of the line's small. It's kind of something that's hard to do, but you have your Palomar, your advanced clinch, and or your clinch, cinch, however people want to say it, and then your leader knot. And those are the 3 knots that I use in fishing, guys. And I know there'll be people that say, oh, well, if you're saltwater fishing, you got to use these knots right here, and this one's stronger, and you might need to do that. You guys can use whatever knots you feel comfortable with. I used several other knots before, and I always had knot failures, and it could have been the way I was tying them. It could have been that I wasn't wetting them enough. I'm not saying that any other knots aren't as good. I'm saying that these 3 knots are the fastest, and they're the most reliable for me. For the last 2 years, I have not had one of these knots fail. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to make that comment. I'm always open to hear anything, you know. As far as
other knots go, I don't learn anymore because it's all I can do to remember these. So I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. If you have any comments, feel free to make that comment, guys. I love hearing feedback from you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn just as much as I'm here to share with you guys. Okay? If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Plenty more fun adventures to come as soon as this weather lets up and I'm able to get out of the house. Please give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out. And what I really want from you guys is for you guys to make every single day count. You never know how much time you have on this earth, so make it count, guys, and do what you love. I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.